good. Oh man, how many times must we say it? Society always put people in a predicament or a situation that doesn't align with their strengths. See, your strengths and weaknesses are a counter. It's a counter-driven experience. Now, when you start going through the gist of relationships and marriages and right, these things take a toll on you. What's up, bro? Absolutely. Oh, I've seen it countless times. Um, when you start seeing people that don't align with your agenda or they have their own agenda, oh yeah, it's always a problem. And the reason that it becomes a problem is that when you're dealing with people that don't get the message, you ever dealt with people that just didn't get the message? That's what this situation is. When you're in a relationship and the communication is broken, then you see people, they start to get the message. You know, it's like they're too much of a coward to say what the problem is or ever state why they feel a certain way. So instead of just saying that they were lying or they were manipulating or playing a game, they rather go with this whole thing of trying to make it seem like you're crazy. So that's how the whole layout is. And they know it's not you, they know it's them. But rather than to be the responsible person and to say it's them, they want to make you out to be the bad guy or the bad person. Now you say, well, why would a human being do that? That's dumb. Why would you want to do that to somebody who ain't did nothing to you? Because some people, that's all they know. He said, sounds like marriage. Right. They go, these people have these problems before marriage and take it into a marriage. So those same problems always exist. Somebody has to be the scapegoat. When people fall off or they fall apart, you know, you almost see the downfall of people. You do. You almost see the downfall of them. And you're like, man, I see where this is going. It ain't finna end well for you. You see the road that they headed down, and they ended up going right, speeding into the wall. You try to help them out of the speeding car, and he's like, no, this is gonna turn around for me. And I'm gonna make millions of dollars. Just watch. And it's like, all right, tried to help. And then they go dead smack into a wall and then go, well, why you didn't help me? I ran into a wall and I needed you. I'm like, what can I do to you after you run into a wall? You need a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I can't help you after you run into the wall. I tried to help you before you ran into the wall. No, you see, the problem is some people, a lot of people have problems with confrontation. They don't they're bad at it at their jobs. And they bosses take advantage of them. You know how many people are working underpaid at their jobs, and they are working underpaid because they are afraid to speak up? Like they gonna be fired just for asking for something that basically should be theirs anyway. Well, the narratives always change when it's about a relationship and when it comes around centering around women in general. Women love to play a game, and men plays the game differently. Men are cowards too. Don't think it's just women. Men are very cowardly depending on the woman they're dealing with. Like, they be like, man, no, don't say that in front of her, man. That shit mess me up. What you trying to do? Get me killed? No, don't say that, bro. She don't play. So, they tell you right away who they are. You feel me? You ever see that at work? You see that at work? You see that at work. If you ever had a job, you had somebody at the job go, no, man, I ain't doing this for no. They paid him that much? Oh, well, I know I'm getting this much. All right, wait till my review. Yeah, when they do my review, they probably gonna do mine next week. Then they come in and be like, they ready for your review. They'll be like, all right, I'm gonna go in now. They're gonna be like, well, tell you what. You did great this year. So we're gonna bump you up from $11 an hour to $12.50. And in your mind, you just see your buddy get 14. That ain't gonna sit right with you. And you're gonna be like, you got any questions? Okay, no, all right, well, I guess, well, this is better than what I was getting before. Yeah, you got a hell of a bump. You're up a whole $1.50. Don't go buy a new car with that. You save it, mister. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Thank you, man. They don't say a word. But at home, they're gonna be like, look, if I ain't getting 13 or 14, like, dude, shoot, I'm gonna be like, no, I can't work here if y'all ain't gonna give me that. If y'all gonna do that, then we'll just leave right now and go our separate ways. Because I ain't taking that. They don't do that. What do they do? Come on, y'all. Y'all know. They do what? Complain. To everybody else except for to the people that deserve it, right? Or who they should do. In a relationship, the same thing. They whine and complain to everybody else that have nothing to do with it except for the people they need to have the communication with. Because there's some type of fear there. So they say one thing and do another. Well, this seems to happen quite constantly in certain areas. It depends on who you are, what you do, your relationship with people, the whole 9 yards. I'm gonna tell you the whole story 1 second. Okay, cool. I was wondering who was gonna go somewhere. I was like, man, I told them don't go nowhere. And the first thing they do is go somewhere. Yeah, I'm headed through the backwoods right now. Driving on this doggone mission. You can tell when somebody on a mission. See, I'm vested up. Got everything ready to go. But prime example. Right? Dating a girl. We going out on a date, right? Now, here's the thing. We're not a couple. Right? Me and her are not a couple. So we're getting ready to go out on a date. We just go out on dates, here and there. But we're not a couple. There's no relationship. So next thing you know, it's like, okay, we supposed to be going out to this event, right? And I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. There's no problems, nothing. So I get calls in the day, like, okay, so what time you getting off? All this communication, no problem. We meet up to go on a date. Right? And then all of a sudden, when we there, her attitude is different. Way different than any time I've been around her before. And I'm like, you all right? Something going on? She, no, I'm good. Then her cousin comes in with, with her boyfriend. And she's, oh, hey, girl. And she was like, oh, hey, like, oh my God, girl, who is this? And she introduced me, oh, this is my friend, this. Oh, she was, okay, girl, I see you, girl. You know how girls talk. And I'm like, so who is that? She's like, oh, that's my cousin. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up. So after seeing something like that, I right away went into a whole different stanza. I was like, look, here's what the scenario is. All right. And let's take it from there. All right. Something's wrong here. And I don't know what it is, but this is a problem. I can tell right now it's gonna be a problem. No. I just had a lot on my head. I was like, all right, cool. So the next day go by, I don't hear from her. 2 days go by, nothing. And I was like, all right, I'll send like, hello. Like, hey, how you doing, stranger? Message. And then she goes, oh, hey, what's up? And it's like, okay, that sounds great. And I'm like, what's happening here? This is just not making sense. So I'm just like, yeah, I did this and did that today or yesterday. I had to do that. Remember the thing you was talking about earlier, blah, blah, blah. Answering her questions from before, when we met. And again, it was like an emoji sign, like, oh, that's sweet, or something saying nice or whatever. And I'm just like, something's wrong here. So I go ahead and I say, you know what? Let's go have lunch. Because now I want to see what this is, face to face, and have this conversation. So all of a sudden, she's like, oh, well, yeah, okay, well, I'll meet you here, not at that place. Like, that's the place she likes to eat. It's by her house. It's like 5-10 minutes from her house. She don't want to eat there. So now this is telling me that there's a problem. it's a very big problem because now she don't want to eat there. She want to go eat somewhere else. So we go somewhere else to eat. And right away, I can tell from our body language and everything, something's wrong. So I'm like, what's going on? Right? Like, I've seen this show before. Like, you talking to some other guy, just say it. Like, I don't, we're not a couple. So if you talking to somebody, just let me know. And she was, no, it's not that. And she's like, my baby daddy is back, and he's trying to get custody, and it's been stressful. So I didn't know how to tell you that, because I don't want to just put my problems on you. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's no problem. So that's what she said, right? So she had to go back to court and all that. Now, here's the thing. All of that she said, she was doing that and acting all distant. I'm like, all right, cool. Go ahead and handle whatever you got to handle. That's that. I was just concerned because it seems weird to me. When I don't get the response that I'm supposed to get or I expect to hear, I'm going to get a defensive. I'm going to think something's wrong. And I don't know what this is, but I don't like it either. So now I'm fading back. Like, I don't like this. Now the situation changes again. Because now I'm expecting not to hear from her because she's going through all this. So I'm not concerned about anything. I'm not talking to her really. I'm just going through the motions. All of a sudden, we get this out of the blue message like, hey, what's going on? Hey, stranger, I haven't heard from you in a while, and this and that. Oh my gosh, things is back great. I mean, let's go to the restaurant that she didn't want to go to before. Yeah, let's go here. Let's go hang out. Where you at, my buddy? I'm like, what the hell going on here? So now I'm confused. This now confuses the all-out hell out of me. I'm like, okay, well, maybe everything is over, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, when do you want to go, like, meet over there and everything else? Oh, let's do this, like, on Thursday. Oh, yeah, this is going to be great. Miss my buddy. Right? We go there. And she's just like, oh, hey, let's go to this place called Mio's. Mio's is this, like, restaurant, like a Mexican steakhouse called Mio's. So I'm like, cool, we can go to Mio's. It's off 12. Yeah, that's convenient, but yeah, we can do that on a day. And like, she's making all these plans again. She's back to being her normal self. So I'm thinking, okay, things is back to normal. Then that Monday, or getting ready to lead up to it, I'm like, oh yeah, man, I already made a reservation for Mio's, so we can get a table early. I know the guy that works there, he used to work at Freddy's, now he's working over there. So I said, this is, probably what's best. She was like, oh, okay. That was all she said. And I'm like, this is weird. I'm like, can you call me? Give me an hour. I'm like, all right, bet. Wait an hour. She calls. After I wait a whole hour, she calls about 2 hours later and says, I can't go to Mio's. I'm like, why? Because I got to go out of town. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, well, I'll just cancel the Mio's thing. And I'm like, what's wrong? Your baby dad again? She was like, sorta. I'm like, man, she's being really weird. So I come to find out, because her friend works at my buddy's job. And I said, hey, did you see old girl there? She's like, tell her I want to talk to her. I was like, give her my number. I want to speak to her. I want to ask her a question. So she called me. She was like, hey, what's up? I was like, yeah. I'm like, with so-and-so, your girl, like, what's been going on with her? She seems weird. She's like, oh, she felt like that. She's probably weird like that with you because, yeah, she's got pregnant again by her baby daddy. I'm like, she was like, yeah, but don't say nothing because she's trying to probably think of a way to tell you because she don't want to lose you, but she made a mistake one night and slept with him and she pregnant again by the baby daddy. I'm like, damn. And she's like, yeah, she just don't know how to tell you. And all of this time, now the time she was being nice and was back to her normal self is the time when she thought she wasn't pregnant. She thought like, man, all right, I'm not pregnant, okay. And she went and took the test and they's like, oh no, you are. So she went right back to that state. They say one thing, but end up doing another. So I was just waiting for her to tell me. I didn't text her. I didn't say nothing. I'm just like, man, like, why even entertain all this if you know this isn't what you want? If you know this isn't the direction you want to go towards, then why even, why are you even doing that? You basically trying to hold on to two worlds. You can't. Eventually, it's finna screw up. So what is the whole plan? So this is why I'm so careful when I'm dating women, because I'm not gonna commit to somebody unless I fully know them. I gotta know your cousin, your mama, your brother. I gotta know everybody. I gotta know where every area I need to go to get you. Ain't no running away. They will say one thing and do another. And that goes for men too. Men will tell a woman one thing and do something else completely different. I'm going out for drinks with my boys. Oh, okay. So the woman will think the man going right to the corner bar. He going to hang out over there. Girl, we going over there. He going to do his thing. They going out for drinks. He'd be at a strip club. She was, what you doing? Hey, I didn't lie. I said I went out for drinks with my friends. I just didn't say which bar. I thought y'all was going to Munson's. No, I wasn't going to Munson's. I ain't saying I was going to Munson's. I said I was going to have some drinks with my boys. So that's kind of saying one thing, and that's misdirection. So it goes both ways. But I'm saying if she could have said all that, why would she sit there and go the opposite way for it and waste everybody's time? Now I could see, now you got to take into consideration, like Slick, there used to be at Knockouts. Dr. Steppenstein, he's got to be in his 60s. he's retired, and it's like, okay, you're in your 60s, you're retired, he got all this pension money, and he's going after these young girls with his pension money. And of course the girls is only there for the money. It's like you saying you want one thing and you're doing another. But what he wanted was to be still in the club, doing the shuffling of the feet and doing his thing. He go to the stepper set, Dr. Steppenstein. That's what they call me. I was like, and he's still dressing like these young folks with some, he got on gaiters. And he doing his stepping routine in the sports bar. And it's like, this ain't a stepper set. This is a sports bar. And then all these, like, the waitresses, the bartenders, they wear all the tight stuff trying to go over to him because he's tipping good. And of course, he got one that catered to his ego. He divorced his wife and went with these young girls. He went and got it, divorced his wife quick. Like she was nothing, just cast her to the side. All those years she been with you, you throw her to the curb so that you can grab one of these young girls and blow your pension money on her. His wife had to get a job at Target. She said, just he was there only for her lady lumps. Yeah, pretty much. But this is how, when you say one thing and do another. He told his wife, oh, we're going to retire and take trips and go on vacations. That was not in his plans. Once he retired, he wanted to get a divorce. Once he had all that money from his pension and retirement, and he started spending all that money on these young girls at the bar, taking them on trips. And I mean, one of the girls, she's real cute and everything, but she's like, she got baby daddy issues. She hang out with thugs. I'm like, this is not ideal for you, man. Like the kind of girls this girl is associated with, I wouldn't be dealing with her. Tried to help the man out, but he couldn't deal. She was bad, but she was trouble. She was absolute trouble, and you can tell the demise is happening because he's stressed out. He had to buy her a Mercedes. I think she had a Mercedes or a Lexus. No, she had a Mercedes. It was a black one. He bought her a black Mercedes. Everything, and he's still making payments on it and everything, and now he's realizing as he's going through the months, they turn into years, it's starting to weigh on him because she bleeding him dry, and he's sitting there like, man, this is stressful. But you was saying one thing and doing another. He's telling your wife one thing and you was doing another. Your wife of over, how you be with somebody over 30 years, 30 plus years, and once you get some money, your retirement money, you just throw her to the curb and run off with some young girl who about could be your granddaughter. Well, that's true. A lot of people don't want to tell their friends they're making a mistake because a lot of friends don't want to be involved, like in the situation. Because see, here's the thing. Your friend can give you solid advice, and I've seen that. They give them solid advice, and they'll be right along with them, and then next thing you know, they'll work it out, and then they'll all be mad at the friend. I've seen that happen countless times. It was like, dude, when you was going to war and you was mad about such and such, he was with you. Yeah, but he said some things about Cheryl that, that didn't sit right with me. So now that me and Cheryl back together, me and Cheryl talked about it, and, he's a negative influence on us. I've seen that happen flat out. They will turn in a heartbeat and shuffle the blame. So that's why most men don't like to tell other friends like what they should do and things in this relationship. You got to be real selective in what you say. I remember one time, what was that? I think I told y'all that story. I was sitting there talking to my buddy's wife. Oh, I don't even know how we ended up on the phone, but me and her talking, she's crying. They had a big falling out. And she's still in love with him, so for her, she's hurt. So while her being hurt, okay, all right, there we go. Now we're going the right way. So her being hurt turns into a whole nother situation altogether. She called me for help. I don't know how we got on the phone. It wasn't help. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what even happened. She was explaining to me what happened in pieces, but trying to protect his dignity. Now, this is of somebody who's an associate of mine. Like, he's not like the closest friend ever. I know him, but we ain't like buddies. But his wife, I don't even know how she ended up on the phone talking to me. Like, she wanted to have this conversation. And while she's crying and all this stuff, it just so happened my buddy, who's also my supervisor, and that's a whole nother story altogether. Oh, this is where I gotta go. Now, the situation is that she's sitting there trying to tell me the story, but trying to keep his dignity at the same time because she still loves him. So she don't want to tell me what really is the problem. And it was craziest news I've ever heard in my life. Let's just say that. For a human being, period. And I never expected to hear that kind of story. And I'm just like, oh my God. So she's telling me like what happened. And all of a sudden, my buddy, who's my supervisor, which is, like I said, another story altogether. I had to be cool. It was the cops behind me. But yeah, so all together to be cool and conservative about the situation, everybody was relaxed and calm. He had went to a divorce, like him and his wife was going to marriage counseling. They went to one session and knew we getting a divorce. Immediately. They just said, oh no, we're getting a divorce. That's one session is all we needed. Yep. So they had all this extra paid in advance to the doctor. I mean, not to the doctor, but to the therapist for the service. So he said, look, he can have them. They can have the marriage counselor. Like, this is free, paid for hours. He's not going to use them. So he's saying just take it. He just would hate to see it go to waste. This guy getting paid for nothing. So I said, well, yeah, my buddy here's got marriage counseling hours. You guys can go to counseling and, you know, talk this out and do what y'all need to do, you know. And y'all can, she was like, oh man, that's great. So she was excited. She calls to tell him, like we can go to do the counseling thing. He's so mad that she had this conversation with me. His whole mind just goes crazy. Like, he can't even function. He calls me blindly, just yelling on the phone at me, going off. I'm like, what the hell are you going off on me? You go sit over there, man. Why are you in the middle of this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not in the middle of anything. She wants to try to save the marriage, and I'm trying to give you guys this guy has a marriage counselor. You should be thanking me. He's like, you trying to hook up with a divorce lawyer. Divorce lawyer? He's a marriage counselor. You trying to save the marriage. It's not a divorce lawyer. What are you talking about? His whole mind wasn't even thinking. He was thinking I was putting her with a divorce lawyer. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? He was just so... The real problem is, he was mad I heard the story of what happened, but she never went into detail. I had already heard. The word was out. If he thought this thing was not getting out, if he thought that thing wasn't getting out, he had another thing coming. I had about 14 calls that day of people telling me, filling me in on all of it. And I just like, I don't know who the other person was, but I'm like, please tell me so I won't ever be around these people. That's what I want to know. I don't want to accidentally be around them. But let's say the wife came home, and you remember Will and Dwayne Martin's story that you heard? Let's just say her husband was the one on all fours. And he was getting filled out like an application. So that's why he was upset. He was upset because he was like, another person now knows the story. And I definitely didn't want him to know the story. He didn't want me to know that story. So this is why she was so upset. But she was trying to protect his dignity. Man, I wish that was a cap. That is 100% the truth. The only thing we did know is, like, it was two brothers, right? We didn't know which brother it was the one that was actually doing this application. Like, which one of these two was the one that got caught? Because one time I heard it was one brother, then I heard it was the other brother. So I'm like, whichever the brother it is, that's, you know, doing this, I can't trust any of them. So I don't want to be around this situation at all, because I will definitely not want to be around him. It's bad. So as a wife, to walk in on that, that's devastating. So when she was talking to me and was telling me what was happening, that's why she was being so reserved. So, but they got a kid together. The kid was about 1. So she wants to save the marriage and try to get him some help. So I pretty much was putting the pieces together as she was saying it. Like it was more like, okay, it's infidelity, but we know it was a little bit more than that. And my boys ain't got no chill. So once they found out, you know how it was. That dude couldn't come around no more. He was nowhere near the group anyway, so we wasn't losing anything. But I'm like, I feel bad for his wife, and I'm just like, man, because one of the two brothers used to basically live with this guy. And one of the guys who was my best friends used to run with this guy. Like, this is like one of his homeboys from back in the day, because they knew his brother. I felt sorry for him, and like when he was around, we used to be like, hey, what's up, and everything, and he used to be like thirsty for attention, and be like, hey, what's up, and all that. And he was involved in the hood story with my buddy, the one I told you, the one with the story with the don't ever admit to nothing when you get caught. He was the driver. And his girl is now his wife. They were dating at that time. That was the situation it was. So you will be shocked, because this dude was all about women and in relationships. That kind of stuff would shock you. Right, so when he calling was going off and doing all this yelling, he was making up stuff that didn't even make sense. Like, you told that girl that I was with another girl. I'm like, the hell are you talking about? He was messing with another woman who was pregnant at the time. I remember that. He was messing with a pregnant woman. She was pregnant by somebody else, and she was like 5-6 months, and he was like, yeah, I can't get her pregnant again. Woo! I'm like, this dude is out of his mind. He's out of his mind. And this is before the situation happened, before he got married. So, and he think I told the other girl about her, and I'm like, I don't even know the pregnant girl. You think I talked to the pregnant girl that you had? I don't know her. How would I talk to her? That's the only time I seen her is when she was with you. Yeah, it was very bizarre. To say the least, bizarre was the right word for it. She's like, not if they gay. Exactly. She wanted to save it anyway. She just was like, she was in shock. She was in so much shock to come in there and to see that. That blew her mind just completely. I mean, it would have shocked me to see that person, and then one of the other person, one of the two brothers. I'm like, one of them? Like, I never would have saw that coming in a million years. So I'm like, oh no, not these people. Not these people. Never saw that coming. But with him, he was just all over the place, because he was embarrassed. Now this thing is finna get out, and everybody's gonna know. So that when she told him that she talked to me and everything, he just freaked out and called me, and then at the end of it, he was, oh, okay, cool, man. Because in his mind, he don't think I know. Now he's like, okay, maybe he don't know, like, what actually happened. I'm like, man, look, she didn't tell me pretty much nothing except for, y'all having a really bad time. So I'm just like, he got free hours for counseling to try to save y'all marriage, man. He was, oh, okay, man. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, we got to stay in contact, man. I'm like, yeah, all right. Yeah, he calmed down and everything, because once he was like, okay, well, like, he's not teasing me. He's not, like, running this. He's acting as if he don't really know what it is. And at that time, I didn't really know in full. detail. Like soon as I got off the phone with him, shoot, messages, everything. Yo, did you hear what happened with so and so? Yeah, he got busted, man. It was the craziest thing. Oh man, it was nuts. Everybody had something to say. He couldn't go nowhere. Oh yeah, he really couldn't be trusted because they tried to get back together and he was just out there hitting chicks and dudes allegedly, and I don't know if he was hitting another dude after that, but couldn't be far off. He was into drugs, but the only reason like we even was really cool with him was mostly with his brother. His older brother is who we knew, and we was close to them, like letting them be associates, saying, all right, we can let them hang out and all that, because we felt bad for them because their mother committed suicide when they were like in their teens. So we felt bad, you know. So that's something that the oldest brother never really got a grips of, you know. It really hit him the hardest. He's the youngest brother, and he's just all messed up by it because he didn't understand, you know, why his mother wasn't around no more, and nobody really told him anything. So he was just rebellious. The oldest one tried to take his life many times, you know, because of that, trying to join his mother. You know, it was hard times. So they went through it. So that's why we were cool with them from the beginning. Like, all right, yeah, they had a rough road, you know. So yeah, it's really sad. And they didn't understand what was going on with her. Yeah, this is a long road. Woo! See, these women don't appreciate how far I gotta travel. But I'm at my said destination. Now I am hungry. All right, I'm gonna talk to y'all later.